This episode is brought to you by William Hill's Final One Standing. Can you outlast the AFTV crew? Step up or step out.
AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date. Your players will be linked with a transfer move to Arsenal.
To AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Did you see that game last night, that Liverpool game? What a crazy game that was. Great advert for the Premier League. And yet again, just like we had Max Dowman, that 16-year-old kid, Rio, coming on and scoring the winner. Honestly, I'm beginning to feel so old with these players. 15, 16, absolutely incredible. Of course, Arsenal play Liverpool on Sunday, and I'm really looking forward to that game. Liverpool conceding quite a few goals. I mean, Newcastle were down to 10 men, and let's be real, Newcastle completely deserved to win that game. So we've got a good chance. It will be Anfield. It won't be St James's Park. We've got a good chance against Liverpool, but Premier League's already hotting up after 2 weeks, and the standard is going to be really, really high. But, and on that, actually, don't forget Final One Standing. Make your picks for this week. If you're still in, which I am, I went with Arsenal last week, I'm still in. Make sure you make your pick before the first game kicks off on the weekend. Remember how the rules work. If you pick a winner, you're through to the next round. If your team draws or loses, you are out. And of course, if you've already gone out, there are still leagues that you can join. I think the jackpot for this week is £30,000. So you can still join that. If you're interested, click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. You've got to be over 18. Terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly. You've got to be based in the UK or Ireland to play, right? Of course, the transfer window closes next week, Monday, just after the last game of the weekend. The transfer window closes. Bit of a strange one because we go into the international break and it shuts at 7 p.m. But Arsenal and Mikel Arteta are still active in the transfer market. He said last week that Arsenal are still active. A lot of people thought, yeah, you're active just in getting players out the door. But it's not just in getting players out the door. It's in getting players in. This one we went with yesterday for Piero Hincapie of Bayer Leverkusen. I said at the time that, I was a bit unsure about this one, if Arsenal would actually be going in for him, because he's a centre-back, at Bayer Leverkusen, although he can also play as a left-back. He's a very versatile player. But this one is really hotting up now. Bild saying yesterday that Arsenal are the favourites to sign him after he rejected a chance to join Spurs. Another hijack on Spurs. They must be sick of the sight of us this summer already, because this is the second player that they wanted to get that has turned them down because he wants to join Arsenal. And this one is moving along pretty rapidly. Now, he's got a release clause of around about £52 million. But Arsenal don't want to pay that release clause. What they want to do is negotiate a fee. The player himself has also requested that, Bayer Leverkusen do not pursue this, release clause. They've already brought money in this summer, Bayer Leverkusen, for players. And he doesn't want them to pursue the release clause. A lot of the talk is a deal could be done for around about £39 million. Arsenal are really splashing their cash this summer. I mean, Andrea Berta's doing an absolute madness. But it looks like if this deal does get done, it's more than likely to be a loan deal with an obligation to buy. So a bit similar to like how we got David Raya, where we loan a player for 1 season, probably pay a loan fee, and then the next season is when we sign him up fully. That way you can spread the payment onto next year. Makes perfect sense. But this one is hotting up. It's starting to look like we will get him, and he will be that guy who can play centre-back or left-back as well, right? Another one. Every single one of the sort of defensive players can play in multiple positions. You can see what Mikel Arteta is trying to do with this one. However, if he comes in, it looks like that's the end of Jakub Kiwior. As a matter of fact, that deal for Hincapie seems to be depending on Jakub Kiwior going through the door, and it does look like Jakub Kiwior is going to be leaving. Of course, Porto are still pushing to get this deal done. Again, they would like to do it with a loan and an obligation to buy Jakub Kiwior. Fabrizio Romano was saying yesterday that he expects a deal to be done for well over 20 million euros. Arsenal, as I've always said, are looking for around about 30 million. May not be able to get that much. But for the Polish international, they're not going to want to sell him on the cheap. He does want to leave. He wants to play regular football. And as I said, his exit should see Hincapie coming in. And, you know, certain deals depending on other deals. But Kiwior going, and looks like Hincapie coming the other way. Zinchenko as well as another player that Arsenal looking to try and move out. Remember, he always plays in that left-back position as well. So lots of movement happening between now on Monday on that front. Arsenal also said to be interested in another player. This is crazy. And we ain't used to this, Andrew Berta, right? We've had transfer windows where all we've done is sign a goalkeeper, right? Or January, we signed no one. We're not used to these things, all these players, right? Arnau Martinez is the player that they said to be interested in. He's a right back. So again, a bit of a strange one because you would have thought Urian Timber's there. We've also got Ben White there. But listen, Arsenal always looking at talent. Reports coming from Foot Mercato, the publication over there in Spain, claiming that Arsenal have offered a bid of around about 8 million euros plus 2 million in add-ons to try and sign him. He plays for Girona, 22 years of age, really, really talented player. And Arsenal very interested in signing him. Now, Girona are willing to sell him this summer, but they would like his release clause, mate. Another player with a release clause, or what I always call the Premier League clause, because the only time these clauses seem to get fully activated is when a Premier League team's involved. They've got a release clause of around about 14 million euros. So, excuse me, so about 4 million away from the valuation in euros. But Arsenal said to be interested in him. He's also garnering interest from West Ham and also Napoli. But one to watch there, Arnau Martinez, 22-year-old Spanish player who plays for Girona over there in Spain. And Arsenal interested in another player here. This time, more of a talented player, more of a player for the future. His name is Ian Subiabre. Correction. Sorry about that. He plays for River Plate over there in Argentina. Really, I was thinking about it the other day. We haven't had many Argentinian players in Arsenal's team. Probably Martinez, the goalkeeper, is the last one we've had. Only 18 years of age. He's got a contract that runs out in 2026. But has really caught the eye of Arsenal as one of those really talented youngsters out there. Known for his pace and creativity. And Arsenal said to be keeping an eye on him. He plays predominantly on the right wing. Barcelona also very keen on him as well. So one to watch. Whether they'll do this transfer window, not sure. But they are definitely looking at this player, the 18-year-old who plays for River Plate over there in Argentina. And Rodrygo, this one very interesting. The Spanish publication AS today with a headline that says Rodrygo will stay at the Bernabeu. Interesting. They claim that he's going to stay at the Bernabeu and fight for his place with Vinicius Jr. Interesting. Whether that happens or not, but that's what they're claiming today. AS, another one in publications quite close to the ownership at Real Madrid. But they're claiming that Rodrygo is going to stay. That'll be a bit of a blow to Arsenal if indeed they were going to go for him. As I've always said, I only think Arsenal will make a move for Rodrygo if it's a loan. Man City, Liverpool, also two other teams interested. But AS claiming that he will stay. Very interesting that he was left out of the Brazil squad that was announced yesterday. Martinelli's in that squad. We're asking for him to come to possibly replace Martinelli. Martinelli's in the Brazil squad. Carlo Ancelotti's placed his squad. He's trusting him, not in Rodrygo, who actually used to play for him at Real Madrid. He's been left out of the squad. Gabriel Magalhaes also back in that squad after his injury, so that's great news as well, as long as they don't go there and get injured. So those are the transfer rumours for today. Don't forget, we're here every single day. Not long to go now. The 1st of September is when that window shuts. Who's going to be coming in and who's going to be going out between then? We'll keep you up to date with all of that here on the show. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.
You lot are always in the comments saying that we don't know ball. Well, now it's your chance to prove it. We've partnered with William Hill to bring you Final One Standing. The rules are simple. Pick a Premier League team every week. Win, you stay in. Lose or draw, you're out. But you can only pick each team once. It's free to play. You need to have a William Hill app to play, so scan the QR code on the screen or hit the link in the description below to get involved. 18 plus, UK only. Please gamble responsibly. Terms and conditions apply, and full terms are in the link below.
Don't worry if you get knocked out. There's new games with new jackpots every Premier League week.
Let's see who's the final one standing.